All right. Welcome to the Gin and Tonic Show. Hello.
Hello, hello, Satan. I am here with Satan, and this time I'm not with the gin. This time with the Satan. This time, so we're doing the gin and tonic show. The gin's missing, so I have to deal with this and have to get the stick on my own. So, hello, Satan. How are things with you?
I am doing well. At work it was absolutely hilarious. So our one of our teams does one of our aspects of my work is that we got to do some customer service. And when I was doing some customer service work, one of the guys was like, "Good girl." He thought I was a lady.
What?
And yeah, another guy, he was like, "You." So I deal mainly with like this is in the auto industry. So some of the people that we deal with own dealerships. This one
Yeah.
guy was like, "Oh, you explain really well. You talk really nice. You'd make a great used car salesman. You want a job at my place?" And I'm like, "Oh, don't worry. No, thank you."
Is definitely looking to hire a demon like you who can convince people to buy their cars, so to speak. But today's episode is going to be interesting. We're going to look at three different things. Well, actually, a few different things. We're looking going to look at a post from Infidel Noodles Instagram, and then we're going to look at a study, an interesting study about vaccines from an Islamic perspective. But I think, Seitan, let's see the the post. So this is a post from Infidel Noodles page. So
This one
she's
broke my heart, actually.
yeah. I'm reading this for the first time. So you sent me this. I'm reading this first. So you're gonna get my genuine reaction out of this. Okay. So Infidel Noodles. This is Ruqayya Haidari. She was only 21 years old when she was forced into an arranged marriage by her mother, Sakina Muhammad, January 6th, weeks after their wedding. Ruqayya was brutally murdered by her husband, Muhammad Ali Halimi. God damn. Oh, damn. I was not expecting this. After cutting her throat, Muhammad phoned Ruqayya's brother and told him to come and get the dead body of your sister. He has since been sentenced to life in prison. This was the second marriage Ruqayya had been forced into by her mother. The first time she was only 15 years old. Tragically, Ruqayya's mother was also forced into a marriage when she was just 12 years old, as she had her first child a year later. Yeah, this is a fucking vicious cycle, you know? It's like, it's kind of like that thing where abusers have been abused, you know? They're just continuing a bad cycle. So, sure, it doesn't reduce the abuse they've committed, but it does kind of show that there's a cycle behind it. Sakina has now become the first person in Australia to be charged and found guilty of forcing someone into a marriage against their will. This is good, actually. In Australia, you are charged to found guilty of forcing someone into a marriage. She is currently out on bail awaiting her pre-sentence hearing. So there's a pre-sentence hearing. It's usually a hearing before an actual sentence hearing. So there's going to be some conditions. Criminal law is a bit like takes some time. Prosecutor Darren SC told the court that the community needs to know that you can't do this. You can't operate this manner in Australia. And you know, it's this is definitely a very heartbreaking story because this poor girl was murdered by her husband, who she was forced married to, by the way. And I feel like even if there were in situations like this, there were signs that were ignored, such as she may have called home, she may have reported, but she would have been just gaslit and told, "Oh, you need to continue this marriage," and blah blah blah, all that stuff. I know for sure there's a cultural aspect to it, but also there's definitely an Islamic aspect. And what's interesting, these are Shia names. I feel like this is a Shia Muslim family too. So again, I could be wrong. I could be. I could be very wrong.
You're a fucking racist.
Shut up. How is calling a Shia family racism? Huh?
What if their name is Hakuna Matata or Kiante Kutinga? All right, they can be Shia Muslims too.
Boy, you know what? You know what? That's true. But hear me out. Hear me out. Sakina and Hedri are very common Shia names.
They can be called Vijay Malia. They can be called Mahinder Singh Dhoni. They can be called anything.
I'm
They can be
just
called Sadhguru. They can be called Narendra Modi. They can be called anything.
yeah, I get it. I know, I know. But I'm just saying. I'm
They
just
can
saying.
even be called Tommy
Now.
Robinson. They can be called Sam Harris. They can be called Mustafa. They can be called Satan.
That's true. That's true. I used to be a Shia Muslim, and my name is Mustafa. So, you know, that's
They can
me.
be Simba. They can be
Wait, what?
Mustafa.
Mufasa? They can
Yeah,
be Simba and Mufasa. Boy,
yeah.
boy, calm down. Calm down, boy. Calm down. Calm down with these names. But you know what? You know what? We both deserve the stick. We both deserve the stick.
You laughed way too hard at that, though.
I, I know, I know. I laughed way too hard at the name thing. I laughed way too hard. But yeah, especially the racism thing that just caught me off guard. But yeah, but anyway, I'm so my apologies for the laughing. This is just Satan made me laugh. This is a sad story, but this is a good thing by Australia. It's a good step by Australia instead of excusing very backward cultural practices or religious practices, regardless of how you see it. It's a step in the right direction that you could be charged for forcing someone into a marriage. This should have been a crime for this should be a crime, and I'm glad Australia took this step. But what do you think, Shaitan?
Oh, I think the law is the law. If you're in a country where the law says you must show consent to someone, then you gotta show fucking consent.
Yes. So consent is a big important thing. The good thing you mentioned is consent, and I know, like in
And I know people from the Islamic background don't want to give it, or religious backgrounds in the general, but when you're in a foreign country, it's common decency to ask and
yes,
get a
yes,
yes before.
yeah, and that's usually the thing. In there's a hadith which says that a virgin. Now, specifically, it says a virgin that silence is consent if a virgin is silent. In terms of like a marriage or something like that. But an adulteress arranges her own marriage, so she cannot arrange. A woman cannot arrange her own marriage, which is also there's another hadith on that. So I can kind of see not just these teachings, but also the religious leaders. I think there's some scholars who recommend, you know, they'll say it's not forced marriage, but come on now, it's you're making the father's making the decision for the child to get married. So it is kind of like, not exactly a choice. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, you were saying something?
No, I was just actually saying, I don't know if you watched this movie called Pink.
I haven't seen the movie. No, I have not seen the movie. Is it
I
like a
highly,
Bollywood? Is it a Bollywood movie?
yeah, it's with Amitabh Bachchan.
Okay.
And
It's
it's exactly this story, and he
hmm,
actually has a point. There's like a line where Amitabh, but so Topsy, she's actually a Telugu actress, I believe. She started her career in Telugu. And has like a line of questions. So this whole story is like there's these girls, they go to like this party, and they're like not like the typical girls that you see, right? So they go to parties, they drink and everything. One of the three girls has like a relationship with like a 45-year-old man, and everyone thinks that they're in like a sugar daddy, sugar baby relationship. So
hmm,
like these women are like women a South Asian community would typically think as vile woman in essence. Not
yes,
saying that to call woman vile, but these three women are like what social outcasts in like the South Indian culture
yes,
are. And in the cross examination, Amitabh Bachchan, he's like asking her. He's like, "Okay, do you do sex work? What year did you lose your virginity? What was the difference between the first time you had sex and this time was? Why did you enjoy the first time you had sex when you were 19 with a boy, but why did you not enjoy it this time?" And finally, it came to the point where the girl was just like, the difference is I said no, and he still climbed on top of me, so I smashed a beer bottle on his head. Uh,
Yes.
because, and then that's where he closes. He's like, and the final line of this movie was magnificent, where he just says, "I don't care if it's your wife, your friend, your girlfriend, or a sex worker. She has said no, and he still mounted her. Therefore, it is rape." And it just cuts with that one line.
Yes.
So I
So
think that movie is like really revolutionary, and I think it should be shown more in South Asian communities there.
yeah, and also like there's another news item that I read, which was in Germany. I think in Germany they started doing classes for migrants. I think it was on consent. So I think introduces sexual education for refugees. So this was back in 2018 that they introduced this. Let me show you the article actually. So Germany, this was education for refugees. The move comes on the heels of a gang rape allegedly committed by asylum seekers in the city of Freiburg. This was during the time. I think there was this huge story of a group of asylum seekers assaulted some women. So this was, and these asylum seekers were from Syria, that is, of Muslim background. So seven of the suspects are Syrian, aged 19, and one is a native German, aged 25. The demonstration organized this actually accused the party of yeah. So even the far right of Germany was accused of exploiting this crime for more anti-migrant what do you call it sentiment. But I'm actually glad that this. I feel like there definitely was the cultural difference as well too. Like there's probably this mentality. I know I'm going to be me inspired. There's this mentality that oh, if a woman wears less clothing, it means she's easy, you know, or she's it's a yes for sex, or it's okay to grab her.
In the same movie, there's actually this one line where he
Hmm.
basically says, "There's women who wear the burqa to women who wear absolutely nothing that get raped. There's 3-year-old children all the way to 6-year-old
Yes,
women that get raped. Rape isn't
yes.
about what the woman's wearing; it's about the view of the guy who's doing it."
Yes, it's always the perpetrator, and also this is a good step by both even Germany as well. That when they introduced these classes, that hey, it's not okay to touch not just women, also children. Don't touch children this way. You are in a different society. There are different expectations, and just because a woman is wearing a skirt does not mean you whistle at her or you like what do you call it cat collar or something like that. So there definitely is like this is a good like to show like sure, I get it, not all migrants are going to be like that, but given the cultural backgrounds and given the religious and cultural backgrounds they come from, it's I know it sucks, but there's definitely going to be that person who's going to you know be an idiot and act on his urges. So there's there's that, and yeah, it's always the perpetrator. It's never the victim's fault. It's always the perpetrator. Um, but yeah, this is definitely like some good heavy topics we covered. There was not just regarding consent, but also forced marriage, of what Germany and Australia respectively have done so far. And I think Infidel Noodle has a great channel, by the way. I do recommend her channel. She does post some content about like how what the Australian authorities have done so far, like what steps they've taken. So they've taken some positive steps so far. So this is some good stuff. And now we're gonna get into the science. Are you ready for science?
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Boy, we're not talking about Bill Nye. We're talking about Islamic science.
Isn't that just camel urine and
Boy,
went to the moon and
boy,
splitting in half?
not everything is camel urine. Calm down, boy. Calm down. Calm down.
Let the let this research article open our letter straps.
Okay, okay. 1 second. I'm just opening this article.
It's good that
Uh,
Moose didn't catch that joke.
wait, what?
You don't know that joke?
What was the joke? Oh, there it is.
Do you know the hadith? The eyes are the leather strap of the anus.
No,
So
no,
that's what I'm
not
saying.
that.
Let us. So I was
No,
like saying, let this research article open our leather straps.
boy, boy. I'm gonna fucking get that stick. Whack down, boy, down. All right. Let's look into Mufti Usman Maravia's article from the Journal of the British Islamic Medical Association. And no, we're not doing the camel urine article yet. We're going to do the camel urine article after this one. Okay? All
I
right.
like a good camel urine.
Boy, calm down, boy. Calm down. All right. So, this was during the time of the COVID-19 pandemic. And I get it. There's a lot of theories out there of like, oh, some of the deaths were da da da. They were underreported, overreported. I don't care.
So, Moose, I actually have a question for you regarding
Yes,
vaccines. Did you
yes.
get your autism from birth, or was it the COVID vaccine that gave it to you?
I don't have autism. And not only that, I got all the vaccines. I got 3 doses, and
Oh,
not a
that's why you're so autistic.
no, no. Quiet, boy, quiet. I'm gonna get that stick. Whack down, boy, down. No, no right wing fringe theories here. No stupid right wing theories here. Actually, no, that's more anti-wax. No, that's yeah, it's still right wing. This is down, boy, down.
I wonder if Hitler was anti-vax.
I don't know. I know he was vegetarian for sure. And you know what's funny? Here's
You
here's
heard
an
it here, folks. Vegetarians are all neo-Nazis.
boy, boy, calm down, boy, calm down, calm down. Actually, what happened to the page? Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. So speaking of Hitler, um, I know the name of his party was a socialist, but apparently it wasn't exactly like the communist definition of socialist, or wasn't the left leaning. It was actually like a different definition of socialist, the National Socialist Party. It was like it was a right wing party. So yeah, that was a strange little trivia that I found out.
It's so nice to hear that you are familiar with Hitler's ideologies.
Boy, boy, I just like history. Okay, I don't have a Nazi tattoo on me.
You heard it here, folks. Moose can write Mein Kampf, but Hitler couldn't write Moose's legal articles.
Boy, I have boy. that took me a while. All right, I'm getting that stick. Whack, whack, down, boy, down. All right. If Ginny were here, he would be like shaking a lot. He would want to go back into the bottle.
Oh, he'd quit
Uh,
the show. He'd fly to Canada and kill me.
oh no, he'll his gin body would go inside the lamp. Disappear into the lamp again. So yeah. So the information in this article is intended to inform British muftis, Muslim faith leaders, healthcare professionals in the UK, the NHS and PG of the Islamic perspective on vaccination and the approaches Muslim jurists around the world have taken towards vaccination. The
Well, there's no
finding,
fucking perspective on vaccinations. mRNA vaccines work, right?
yeah,
And it's
yeah,
like, oh, we didn't have enough time. It's not about the time that you test a vaccination. It's
yeah,
about the it's about the sample numbers, and you need around 50,000 sample numbers to test any vaccine. Typically,
Really?
that takes 18 months to 24 months to actually do 1 to 2 years. The COVID vaccine, they had 50,000 applicants to be like an actual sample size
Yeah.
within the first 4 to 6 months. That's why I was able to be pushed out in 4 to 6 months,
Oh
not because they
wow.
rushed it, because they actually had people willing to test.
Okay, so they had a pretty decent sample size to be tested.
Yeah, so it's like it was tested at the same vigorous level as any vaccine.
Yeah. So I know there's this debate that oh it was rushed, but apparently what you're saying is based on the information is that they already had the participants for the sample size.
Yeah,
Interesting. That's very interesting. And this is for like the findings. This is what the article says. The findings could help discuss combined efforts to best advise the British Muslim community with regard to the Pfizer BioNTech COVID 19 vaccine. The proposed use of this vaccine is for active immunization for prevention of COVID 19 caused by SARS CoV 2 in individuals 16 years of age and older. For this purpose, some of the underlying arguments for vaccine hesitancy based on theological and sociocultural factors are explored. So, methodology. So, the methodology they use an analysis of existing fatwas on vaccination. So, fatwa, remember, a fatwa is very important because it's a religious declaration by a
but who
religious scholar
gives
of
it? But
authority.
who gives it, right? Because
Yeah,
it's not like Catholicism where the Pope can issue a fatwa, right?
yes.
So who's issuing this here? Is it a scientist that studied biology, or is it some mufti sheikh who drinks camel urine?
boy, boy, calm down, boy, calm down. Mufti Sheikh that drinks camel urine. I'm gonna whack down, boy, down. But
But it's a
yeah,
genuine question there. Like you understand the point, right?
yeah. I,
Like
I mean, I wouldn't assume the Mufti drinks camel urine because he wouldn't be that stupid. But definitely, it's the background. The scientific background is like question for sure. Is that does he have a background in science? So this is a very good question, and also like it's I wouldn't use camel urine as a sample. I'm like, there's also a lot of scholars who recommend, child marriages too, right? Who say that's halal, so to speak. So it's like, and these are the kind of scholars who've given fatwas as well. So, and in the past, Nick, in the past, we've had fatwas against things like the printing press, for example, or things like newer technologies, because it's seen as bid'ah or an innovation that's evil. We've had fatwas against the Urdu language. Hey, heck, remember the Urdu language. It's written in Arabic text, but it was seen as the language of the kuffar. Do you like? And you've probably seen the text. It's what do you call? But
I
now
was always told that Urdu is just Hindi written in Arabic.
it was seen as a kuffar's language too. Did you know that?
Oh, really?
Hmm. So the even the earliest writers of Urdu were not just Muslim, but there were Hindu writers as well who communicated in Urdu. So it wasn't just an Arabic or Persian innovation itself. It was also done by non-Muslims as well too. So this kind of throws it out of the game that oh, Urdu was a Muslim language. It never was a Muslim language to begin with. So yeah, I'm yeah, I know you're probably thinking, oh wow, that just changes everything. And until the 1700s, Urdu was considered a kuffar or disbelievers language until there was a translation of the Quran written in Urdu in the 1700s, and only then things started to change. So yeah, it's a very interesting history. Um,
Like considering some of the largest empires, or not the largest, but like the most richest empires for the Islamic
mhm.
uh religion include uh, India, right?
Yes, the Mughal Empire as well as the Delhi Sultanate were the biggest is one of the biggest Islamic empires, and the Mughal Empire, mind you,
Fun fact:
they're
Mughal empires weren't actually from India; they're from the steppe region.
yes, they are from. Initially, it was from Kabul. Like the Babur's capital was initially in Kabul, but his grandson Akbar moved the capital from Kabul to Delhi because he became more Indian. As a descendant of Humayun and Babur, he became more Indianized, and the descendants became more Indian. And most of the emperors were then born in Delhi, so to speak. So I think only in the first two generations, but because they married Indian women and they had a lot of Indian genetics inside of them, so they became more Indian as the time progressed. And their official language they wrote in the texts are either in Sanskrit or Persian. So these are the two languages that were used in this empire. So yeah, it's a very Urdu wasn't used as a language just yet in the Mughal times. So this is a bit of an interesting history, you know, uh, what you call a tidbit that is. By the way, yeah. So it is. He does say he is correct. By the way, back to the study, Padella points out that it is impossible to gather all fatwas on any issue as they're rendered verbally or in writing in various languages and are found in a diverse media sources, including radio and television programs, websites, newspapers, book collections, policy reports, and academic papers. Now, I think when remember when you mentioned that it's not the Pope, right? That's giving
Mm.
the so it's not one source. There's like multiple sources that are giving a fatwa. Like it could be anybody. He could give it on a television show. He could give it on a radio show. He could even give it verbally, and it's sometimes in writing, but usually it's delivered verbally. And it's hard to keep a record of things like this. The one fatwa that was famous because of the leader who gave it. Ayatollah Khomeini, Ruhullah Khomeini, actually gave. Remember, he gave the fatwa against Salman Rushdie for the blasphemous book that he wrote. So that was the one fatwa that became more public. That's the most famous fatwa in the 20th century, at least. So that is a fatwa itself. So, as such, my research is limited to key fatwas written in English, Urdu, and Arabic on vaccination since the late 1980s. Likewise, so yeah, Urdu, Arabic, and English. Likewise, the arguments made against using vaccines discussed in this article are not exhaustive, but ones that have been given to a significant rise to vaccine hesitancy amongst Muslim populations in Afghanistan, Pakistan, Nigeria, and Johannesburg, South Africa. These are some interesting locations. I know for a fact that there was vaccine hesitancy in Pakistan for a while until they made it mandatory for individuals who want to travel that they have to get a vaccine.
They probably just introduced a hadith saying Muhammad took 20 vaccines.
Boy, boy. Actually, that would be a complete fabrication though, as a hadith in terms of hadith science. Sorry, I just had to drink a drink of water. Um,
My idea was so good that it was thought provoking and Moose needed water.
shut up.
Yeah, seen the light.
boy. Okay, but whack down, boy, down, boy. All right.
This
At the
show
time,
will go to shit if it wasn't for my show jokes. You know
it
that, right?
would. I know. This is why I love you. This is why I love you because this show lives on your humor, on your disgusting but hilarious humor. All right. So to support Muslim jurists have, over the past few
Uh,
decades, put forward arguments in favor of vaccine. At least, mind you, this is just the past few decades. On the other hand, there have emerged arguments against intramuscular and oral vaccines from non jurists. Section 2 highlights the efforts of member states of the OIC. This is the Islamic Conference uh, to eradicate deadly diseases using vaccines. Section 3 explores key arguments made in favor of vaccines. These Arguments include allowing harm to oneself or others, as well as ensuring that harm is prevented. This section also highlights the difference among Muslim jurists concerning permissibility of use of gelatin in vaccines. Okay, this could cause an issue potentially. Gelatin, because I'm guessing gelatin is made from pig, right? Like,
Yeah. Or
yeah, go ahead.
so basically it can happen from any animal bones because you
Hmm.
have the cartilage in the bones, and when
Hmm.
when it gets heated enough, it becomes gelatin. That's if you ever look at like beef stock and such that uses
Yes.
bones or bone broth and such. If you cool it, it shakes. But typically they make it from pork bones because of how easy it is to just grab
Yeah.
pork bones.
Yeah, that's why a lot of juices, a lot of jellies, a lot of candies, and even some medicine. A lot of Muslims have Muslim jurists as well as communities have are strictly don't eat those because of the even marshmallows have gelatin in them, don't they?
Yeah.
So apparently, yeah. Um, I had an ex-Muslim friend of mine. The They had a very strict code of in their family when they grew up as Muslim that they wouldn't eat anything pork related, anything that is. So, and the first thing when they became ex-Muslim, the first thing they wanted to try was not pork, but just marshmallows. They did not want to do any haram thing except try marshmallows, which is funny. They didn't drink, which is I respect. I really respect. You know, what do you call it? I really respect their dedication of eating. Like the first thing they thought of was just to eat marshmallows. So anyway, so yeah, gelatin is a huge issue. Section 4 in this article examines the arguments, criticisms leveled against vaccines. Arguments selected occurred on this section are the ones appear to have influenced anti-vaccination campaigns amongst Muslims. Such arguments promote the idea that humans are designed to be treated by natural means such as breast milk, and other natural foods. But adults can't have breast milk. What are you talking about? And yeah, go
Mohammed
ahead.
Hijab can.
Boy, no, no, calm down, boy, calm down. Like, all right. Additional arguments explored in this section include the notion that vaccines contain dangerous ingredients that they could be altered to cause infertility. Section 5 provides a summary of the main arguments against vaccines, also contains recommendations of the British muftis and medical professionals in the UK to help address the hesitancy. So, member states, this highlights the campaigns by different Muslim organizations, to tackle this threat. Such viruses pose a threat to Muslims in the UK as they do in the rest of the world. Given the statistics of the pandemic, the British Muslim community have been reported to have suffered excess cases and deaths as a result. Really? In Britain, this was the community that was hit the most? The Interesting. The efforts and campaigns by different Muslim organizations can help to inform and inspire British Muslims on different ways to handle COVID-19 crisis. I'm actually surprised that there was the British Muslim community that was affected. In February 2014, Islamic Advisory Group for Polio Eradication was launched. This group consisted of International Islamic Fiqh Academy, the Islamic Development Bank, and Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC. The campaign mustered 57 member states of the OIC intending to eradicate polio. The eradication program included
Isn't
promoting
polio already eradicated in most Western countries?
most Western countries, but there's still the polio outbreak that happened in other countries like South Asian countries and Middle Eastern countries. And
That's counterproductive, though, because if Allah wants to kill a kuffar, wouldn't He spread polio in Western countries? What is this like secret key codes that He has to give?
boy,
What? No, it's a serious question. Like,
yeah, go ahead.
in terms of a serious question here, why can't they just use the technologies that's already been created with the Western worlds in a lot of these places that do actually have the money to implement it?
Yeah. I can kind of understand Pakistan's situation because let's face it, Pakistan, we've seen articles before about Pakistan and news stories. Pakistan has had a really dire economy, but economies such as the Emirates or Saudi Arabia, for example, or they don't have any excuses. Iraq has an excuse for sure because Iraq was in a friggin' war for decades. Although actually more than half a century, Iraq was in a state of war. So I can kind of excuse countries like Iraq and Pakistan and even Bangladesh because there's of the economic situation. But then other countries, they don't have much of an excuse though. So yeah, it's a very interesting question that you yeah, like Allah would punish the kuffars, no, of these diseases. And there was an interesting story that people were saying that COVID-19 spread because the kuffars, it was going to kill the kuffars in China, but then it started spreading in Muslim countries too. And there was
Is
a
it?
meme made about it. Yeah,
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, like, yeah, no, that it sounds pretty shitty.
yeah. Um, so polio is often they do the oral vaccines, that is, and I think there was a huge program in Pakistan in the late '90s of the whole like polio vaccine, that is, because they had to give a lot of kids polio vaccines. And they actually did push for the vaccination. The eradication
Yeah.
program included
Do you know what
promoting.
we'll do as well is like because with I actually read through the article after like section 3 or 4, it goes into more of the statistics of how it works. So I'll actually pull up some more research on how like the vaccines itself works. But this actually gives us like a really good overview of what they're actually saying,
Mm,
right? So we'll
yeah,
do until the hour at like we'll do this episode as a 1 hour thing, so that way we can actually have like the actual statistics,
yes.
but we can keep this as like an introduction for the audience too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Do you want me to continue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just want to like bring that up as well because like later on when we actually bring up like when he brings up like how the vaccines work and such, I would have some like diagrams and everything that actually show as well just
Yeah,
to
yeah,
give a
yeah, yeah.
visual manner.
Yeah, yeah, perfect, perfect. So I'll
Yeah,
try
so
to
we'll
finish
go
this
until like
article.
the yeah, we'll try to
And
go up to the hour, and then
yes,
after that, well, we'll continue with like the actual pictures and such that are relevant.
okay, perfect. So, by the way, it's interesting. Sheikh Yusuf Al Qardawi was the chairman of the International Union of Muslim Scholars, and he stated that uh, and Yusuf Al Qardawi is a pretty famous scholar too. So, polio vaccine has been effective in over 50 Muslim countries, and its lawfulness in Islamic law is clear as sunlight. Vaccination is a process gained trust because of the success it showed. In the first half of the 20, it had been made available against pertussis, the tetanus, influenza. And these are the years that it provided. 1948. So followed by these in 1971, MMR vaccination was made available. So hepatitis B vaccine was made available in 1981, and a vaccine for Haemophilus influenza type B was made available in 1985. Bearing in mind that vaccines are effective, the question that requires answer is providing or receiving vaccination a religious obligation? Now, this is an interesting question. A difference of opinion exists regarding this question. The two major opinions worthy of mention are including A, one that is not required to take medication, especially if taking medication would bring unwanted side effects, and B, giving and receiving medication is praiseworthy and an act that is viewed to be honorable, as well as seen as making skillful use of knowledge applied by humans. Whilst these two opinions are easily applicable to many diseases and illnesses, the circumstances during a pandemic are different. This difference is based on the fact that if an affected individual does not seek a cure, There is a risk of transmitting the disease to others simply through touch and exhalation. And by the way, they did a study where they showed that even just like how much your simple touch can release little pathogens, so to speak. Pathogens and like can travel a lot. On this note, 1992 Islamic Fiqh Academy discussed medical treatments, including vaccination. Resolution 67 states that amongst the objectives of Islamic law, it is the preservation of life. And I think by preservation of life, that would qualify. Accordingly, when not seeking medical treatment may lead to infecting others, then in such case, seeking medical treatment may be considered a religious obligation. So, in the essence, if you are potentially a virus can spread, it is a religious obligation to take the vaccine. A ruler may impose medication in certain cases, as in the case of infectious diseases and preventative health measures.
Is there any
Consequently,
hadith that actually shows that, Moose?
there's no hadith because again, when you go to Quran and hadith, that is, there's nothing about vaccinations per se, specifically vaccinations. However, in Islamic law, there's the scholarly view or the ijma. You have to consider the scholarly consensus you have to have. So this is why we have to look at fatwas, that is, or the rulings of the Islamic um, rulers, that is, or the because usually you look at either the rulers or the scholars. That's like the that's where it is. And then finally, if there's no consensus, does it feel right? Those are the four layers of Islamic law. Usually, Sunni Islamic law has the if it feels right, and then Shia Islamic law has aql, which is like, does it make sense? Consequently, in 2016, Fatwa Committee of Peerless Malaysia, one of the member states of Parliamentary Union of the OIC stated that vaccination is an Islamic obligation. So, hey, if taking a vaccine is halal, it's halal. Parents have a duty to protect their children from any form of harm. As of date, the vaccination of children has been proven the most effective ways in protecting children from infectious bacterial diseases such as measles, polio, influenza, meningococcal, diarrhea, and others. It is considered a religious obligation or a wajib for parents or guardians to protect their children against these illnesses through vaccinating. Any negligence of this duty on the part of the parents or guardian that may lead to any form of harm to the child is considered committing a sinful act. In addition, refusing to take any preventative measures to protect the society from such illnesses also form another form of a sinful act. So, not taking, according to this particular fatwa, this is just this by the Islamic Council Fatwa Committee in Malaysia. You okay there?
Yep.
So there is obligatory vaccines may be viewed as impinging on individual freedoms. An alternative approach to ensure public safety could be to restrict certain privileges. For instance, to obtain Hajj or Umrah visa vaccination against certain viruses are required by the Saudi government. I remember this actually. The Saudi government did require you
Yeah, but the
to
Saudi government is not a representative of Islam, isn't it?
boy, boy. You know what? There's no such thing as a representative of Islam if you kind of apply that logic, you know?
Yeah, no, that's what every apologist says, right?
Yeah, it's like, oh,
Oh, it's
he's
like,
not a
why is Iran chopping off the hands of thieves and like killing gay people? Is oh, they're not representatives of Islam. There's no Sharia government. Saudi
it's
Arabia is not a Sharia government. Why should Sharia? They're kufirs in Saudi Arabia. Why should you listen to them?
yeah, it's or like there's kafirs in Saudi Arabia. Even though it's funny that ISIS declared Saudi Arabia as one of their enemies, and they also declared Hamas as
Brother,
one of their enemies
brother
too.
makes very good point.
Yeah, and then there's the story going around of oh, like ISIS doesn't represent Islam because they declared Hamas non-Muslims, and I'm thinking ISIS already always considered everybody else non-Muslims. Like, where have you been?
The only true Islamic people are terrorists according to Hamas and ISIS. So it's
Oh
really not good to
man,
like trust them.
yeah, it's not a good way to trust them. So
The way if you look at what ISIS says, Honda would be the true Islamic State, whereas
Honda,
wait, or no wait, is it the Hondas or the Toyotas that they drive over there?
I don't know. I don't know which vehicles they drive. I think because Islamic State has been very like they've almost lost power at this point. They're a shell of their former selves.
No, because I'm getting all these ads for like ISIS driving certain vehicles. I just forgot what the car company is because I'm so focused on ISIS itself.
Boy, boy, wait, why are you watching these ads?
Because I want to know what vehicles to buy.
But why are you watching an ad with ISIS on it?
Because those motherfuckers drink the best fucking coffee. They're in the desert in like
Boy,
out.
boy. Okay, okay. How were you able to get ISIS footage of them driving Honda or what was the other car? Of them driving Hondas or Toyotas?
Tommy Robinson sent it to me.
Boy, I'm gonna get that stick. Let me get that stick. Whack down, boy. Whack down, boy. Down. All right. Now, no more ISIS cars for you. All right. Furthermore, yeah, Qantas Airways it announced vaccination is required for passengers. There was hesitancy in South Africa. Organizations anti-vaccination sentiments of South African Muslims appear to have been introduced by Dr. Abdul Majid Khatme, a British retired psychiatrist who argues that immunizing children by means of vaccines is a form of medical. Oh no, medical assault. Oh no, how? Like, what's your take on this? Like this doctor, who's a psychiatrist, by the way. This is not even your field.
Isn't this the same doc? Is this the same doctor that came onto Daniel Hikikachu's live stream and said that child marriage is healthy for women?
Is it him, Dr. Abdul Majid Khatme? Hang
That
on.
that guy is also Dr. Abdul. So
Doctor, boy, I'll make
hey,
it
the
some.
names are this ain't a fucking coincidence. There's a doctor named Dr. Abdul that's quacking out, yapping this amazing science out there, like marrying children.
Khatme, did he appear with Muhammad Hijab, right?
No, not Muhammad Hijab. Daniel Hakikachu. They did
Oh,
like a
Daniel
6 hour.
Hikichu.
They did a 6 hour episode talking about how child marriage benefits women. And he was telling you all the medical evidence that showed that. I shit you not. There's a 6 hour video of him and Daniel Hakikachu doing so.
Yeah, I'm not. Whoa, hang on. Hang
I
on.
said, I know I said some retarded shit in my life, but I'm not lying about this.
1 second. Let me see. There's this video about this doctor apparently on YouTube. 1 second. Let me see. Okay, I know it's on an Indian channel, but like, let me share the screen for this one. Oops. Okay, present. Let me share the screen for this talking point with Dr. Abdul Majid Khatme. He says, "Trusty Muslim aid."
English
This
translation of the Holy Quran. Welcome to the show, Talking Point, Dr. Abdul Majid
Thank
Khatmi.
you very
this
much.
guy was it this guy?
I have to see 1 sec. I forgot the face.
Oh man, Dr. Abdul Majid Khatme. But yeah, are you able to recognize this guy?
Oh, I think he left his face blank there, just like hide himself.
And
He called himself Dak.
ac-
Oh, did he? He left it.
Yeah,
He didn't. So he didn't appear on. Like he did. He may have appeared. 1 second, Doctor
yeah.
Abdul Majid Khatme, because he's he's a psychiatrist. Yeah, awareness. Islamic news. Man, this guy delivers Islamic news and shit. Somali channel. Honey, the divine medicine to min. Oh my gosh. The title. The title. Someone spell check, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام
Oh my god.
Muhammad
And
sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It will be
I think like
counted.
YouTube like took it down.
It
I think so. With Daniel.
Hakikachu.
He,
Yeah, I still remember IP and AP and Daniel Hakik and who the fuck was it? David Wood, our favorite Dawood. He did an entire
okay.
video.
Okay, I don't. I think either YouTube took it down. Oh no, there's a different Dr. Abdul. This is a Dr. Abdul Majid. Was it this guy?
No,
Okay, there's a Dr. Abdul Majid. Yeah,
yeah,
we
he
don't
didn't.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah, we don't know which doctor it was. Is Daniel Gigojo deviant? Interesting. You know what? There's some interesting
is
videos
he a
to
sexual
react to.
deviant? Yeah, is he a sexual deviant?
Yeah, because apparently people have accused him of being a grifter. That is Hakikachu,
Yeah,
because he presents such like outlandish opinions that, and they've gone like very far into like way to like I would say practically like ISIS territory, if anything, ISIS or like Al Qaeda territory. Okay, so this
for
doctor,
sure.
he was a retired. By the way, he wasn't even practicing; he was retired, and he called it a fatally flawed system of intervention. They are further disseminated through Majlis al Ulma, Voice of Islam. Paradoxically, this website does not quote the Muslim jurists. Moreover, the articles describe vaccines to be dirty, toxic, and satanic, as well as vaccine manufacturing as, oh, come on, witchcraft? Witchcraft? This is the kind of shit I see with the Christian like preachers. What the hell is this? And devils? Manufacturing companies as, I mean, you know what? I can kind of make an argument. They're kind of assholes, but like you know, what pharmacists? The pharma industry is a whole different ball game altogether. So, so this was printed amongst Muslims of Johannesburg. Ibrahim Khan, the IMA distances himself from any of these campaigns that advise people not to vaccinate. So main organizations are sort of pro-vaccine, that is, at least in terms of, okay, what does Al Azhar in Pakistan say? Meetings of the theme polio eradication were held at the International Islamic University in Islamabad. So I've actually been to this university, by the way, in collaboration with Al Azhar University from Egypt.
No, I can tell. You used to be smart, then you went to this university. Now you don't.
Boy, boy, calm down, boy. I'm gonna whack you with a stick. Down, boy, down.
Oh yes, daddy.
Boy. Anyway, the consultation report concluded that the OPV available in Pakistan do not contain any haram content. So that was the issue. Oh man, concluded that vaccines do not have any content that cause. Yeah, there was so many. The consultation was followed by a fatwa issued by Jamia Darul Ulum permitting vaccines. Mufti Naeem also reported in the past, I too had suspicions about vaccine, but not anymore. This vaccine saves children from lifetime. So this was about the polio vaccine. There was a time where polio vaccine may have been seen as un-Islamic, but in the 1980s and 90s, they had to push for this.
Because it actually helped people.
Yep. Arguments in favor of preventative measure la dararwa la dirar. One should neither suffer harm nor cause harm to others. This Islamic jurisprudential maxim serves as the underlying argument in favor of finding solutions to eradicate infectious diseases. So I think this would Also, this is what the concept is used by Islamic organizations. In relation to SARS CoV 2, according to this maxim, an individual should not suffer from the virus as a result of negligence in safety procedures. Likewise, an individual showing symptoms of COVID 19 must take every precaution by maintaining social distancing and self isolation to ensure that the virus is not transmitted to another individual. As COVID 19 is a novel case, precedents of implementing this maxim can be found in relation to other diseases. So I remember even during like holding prayers too, there was a limit to like you could not go inside the mosque. They were doing more online prayers, that is, online khutbahs and stuff, which was encouraged. I remember, Nick, during the initial stages of the vaccine, all churches, all mosques, all temples had to be shut down.
And that's just Satan killing
And
them.
yeah, there was also the pressure by especially religious organizations to speed up opening their temples, mosques, and churches because of the business that is affected. But anyway, let's see what he says about Muhammad Rasulullah. The Prophet of Islam himself often encouraged people to seek medical treatment and describe exact steps that need to be taken. A compilation of such medical advice comes from Al-Tab and Nabawi literature, meaning prophetic medicine. Uh, Such encouragement of seeking medication is also in agreement with the Quran, wherein the Prophet Job, that to be patient with, was instructed to seek a cure. Okay. However, the hadith of his so-called medical knowledge was very questionable, downright insane. Like Nick, you mentioned the urine of a camel.
Yep. So
And
I think we'll discuss this topic, and we'll probably have to put it to a stop because the next steps go into a lot more. We can probably bring like the hadiths and such that
yeah,
specifically
yeah,
talk
yeah, yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah.
But
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think,
because Muhammad had quite a bit of medical miracles there,
yeah, miracle, miracle. Oh, of course, it's going to address the autism in children thing.
and you're living proof of that, aren't you, Moose?
Boy, oh, I'm going to beat you with that stuff. I'm not autistic. Whack. Down, boy. Down.
Oh, gee, it was hard to tell.
Okay, so there's. I remember this guy, Andrew Wakefield, who
Oh,
is this
you remember him from when he did the research on you?
boy? No, no. Well, whack. Down, boy. Down. Enough of the roasting. But yeah, is this the guy who came up with the autism in children
Yeah,
nonsense?
yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, man. It's like, oh, boy. So there's, boy, that belief in autism by vaccines based on the use of very
You
small
see,
quantity.
you see, in Bukhari, it discusses autism.
Quiet, boy. Additionally,
It
the
says there
belief.
additionally, Bukhari points out the belief of autism.
I think this is not the same Sahih Bukhari we're talking about. We're talking about a different guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There goes my
So
balloon.
I don't know if it's. I don't think this is Sahih al Bukhari. Wait, hang on. British Medical Association. I'm just skimming through
Well,
this. Um, so yeah, I'm just kind of skipping this part. Concerns over gelatin use. Yeah, like we discussed earlier, there was the gelatin human cell strains and vaccine development. What about this? Is this a thing? Um, like with human cell strains in vaccine development?
yeah,
Interesting. So the rubella, chickenpox, shingles. Why is
yeah.
it that
These I have a lot of like. So I just want to like compile all the images I have because I did quite a bit of research for this.
yeah. Based on the Quran, Hamdan argues that breast milk for 2 complete years is the most beneficial substance for a baby. Yo, what's the scientific accuracy for breast milk?
No, breast milk is really it's really beneficial.
Hmm.
But there are certain babies that need other antibodies.
Right. And not just breast milk, that is. You do
Yeah,
need some vaccination for babies. And
yeah,
healthy and pure foods such as honey, black seed, dates, and olive oil. I fucking hate black seed, not gonna lie.
yeah. They also need circumcision.
Boy, boy. All right. Arguments against intramuscular oral vaccines. So there are arguments against it. I'm surprised he hasn't used any Islamic arguments against it. In Afghanistan, Austin institutions towards broader political conflicts. So yeah, there's definitely some. Mullah was a former Taliban, began a campaign against. Okay, so this Taliban leader was against vaccinations. I'm not surprised. Who's surprised,
Wow, wow. It's almost as if he believes in science.
really? Two questions can be found based on the online fatwa site Ask Them. Both questions come from Pakistan in 2007. Mufti, if medical experts regard taking vaccine, it will be permissible. Mudlisul Ulma, student also saying that any harm substance are impermissible. Mudlis added that if vaccines are required by Saudi Arabia for Hajj and Umrah, so, and going for Hajj itself would be impermissible. So yeah, this is an interesting take. Moreover, the Mudlis added that even if such vaccines are required by the Saudi Arabia for Hajj and Umrah purpose, such vaccines are impermissible and going for Hajj. Interesting.
I
So
wonder, Moose,
they
I got a question. I wonder if ISIS goes to Hajj.
you never know. You never know. You never know if they've been to Hajj. Because you never know if whoever's already been to Hajj or went for Hajj.
Who do they
'Cause-
pay zakat? Who does ISIS pay zakat to?
yeah, that's a good question, actually. Who do they pay zakat to? I really want to look into this, actually. I really want to look into their structure, their entire structure. So,
I ru- the joke's on you. I just pulled you into the dark side.
boy, stop pulling me into the dark side. Like, whack!
You're a Pakistani man who is now going to go into the dark side of ISIS.
boy, all right, and enough with me. My inner southern guys needs to stop coming out. Waziristan region that the CIA used. Oh, so there was a controversial news that the fake vaccination campaign acquired DNA from Osama bin Laden's relative. The spread of this news resulted in a violent
Aren't
boycott
they
of.
all famous in Dubai though?
I don't know.
No, because
Osama bin
Bin
Laden,
Laden. No,
the
Bin Laden's
family.
family. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they're huge
In
develop.
Saudi Arabia, especially, they're a very big family, and there are. I think Osama was like that exception who got radicalized, but overall, like I remember Russell Peters did a piece on this too, where they're like, "Oh yeah, yeah, he met I think Osama bin Laden's brother or something like that." So it was a funny experience for even Russell Peters, and he was freaked out. And it was just such a very bizarre experience because for him, he's like, wait, this guy talks like a normal guy. And he's like, oh, yeah, don't worry about Osama. He was the one who went crazy. So it's very interesting.
So
Um,
let's end it on
yeah,
Bin Laden there, and I'll bring some evidence for next week.
yes, yes. So we're gonna, do you have diagrams?
Yes, I have diagrams. I have research. I have
Okay,
flow plans and everything.
let me
So
just,
once,
let me just stop the
so
screen.
I'm gonna compile all that and just like we can go with this and then show the evidence of it as well.
Yeah, yeah. I think the, yeah, overall, like the anti vax statements often came from like pro Taliban supporters or pro like Osama bin Laden type
Yeah.
of section. But yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, that's essentially this article was super interesting, and then like I know I was joking around, but the girl getting killed with that we reacted in the beginning, it was really sad, and I just
Yeah,
tried to like lighten the mood with the jokes there. But
I know,
good thing
I
on
know.
good thing on Australia for actually like taking action and not being a bunch of
Absolutely,
fucking pussies.
absolutely. So we're definitely gonna Wait, we're wrapping up the show now?
If you, yeah, no, I was thinking of doing it as an hour just so the research article, I can actually bring in like the sources, right? When he actually brings in like the vaccines and how they work.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, no, this is definitely interesting. So it was we could have looked into a lot more, but the content is pretty interesting because we also looked into Germany. We also looked into like this the doctor who actually spread amongst the Muslim community, Dr. Abdul Majid Khatme, and we don't know if it's the same guy who came with Hakikachu. We don't know.
hopefully it's not.
Yeah, hopefully it's not. Anyway, uh, Seitan, what do you say?
Yep, that's all my points. It's just super shitty that there's people that still deny the evidence that goes out there. Because
Yeah,
mRNA, like, I learned what DNA, RNA, mRNA, and how all that works in grade 9. So the
yes.
fact that you don't know grade 9 fucking biology is pretty sad.
Well, I don't know what mRNA is as much, so yeah, I'm bad with grade 9 uh, science. So I'm one of the dumbasses. Yeah. So anyway, um, but yeah, overall, like I think the science, the denial of vaccines, stems from more fear mongering rather than actual facts. A lot of it is fear mongering, and of course, it brought out the usual suspects. And I've seen this in also anti-vaxxers in the West too. The same arguments, the autism nonsense, the what do you call it? But also they also consider the vaccines having gelatin in there, the humans samples, etc.
For sure. In
Yeah.
any case, yeah, next week we'll be bringing in the actual evidence and going piece by piece
Yes,
with this
absolutely.
article here.
All right. Take care, everybody.
See you.
See you.